What you need is five things. You need intellectual property, you need regulatory guidance, you need market access, market intelligence, and you need funding. Give him these five and he doesn't need a table and chair. He'll be roaming around. So now we said we'll be able to guide these people into these areas and handle them into the path of innovation. So with Makersness program, what we created out of this was an ecosystem where we've also added a module called boundaryless thinking with one of our partners, wherein if you come up to me with an idea, like a vaccine company came up to me with an idea which they wanted me to mentor them with and guide them. So I make them pass through this session of boundaryless thinking, where I study from politics, sports, entertainment, art, mafia, and anything else, non-domain. And I came back to them and I said that there is a battery company in Israel that was functioning similar to the vaccine company's model. So that's the kind of disruption that we require today in cross-domain areas. What I see in this ecosystem today is, yes, with innovators, that we need to cross-collaborate across domains. And I think that is going to expand the scope of the ability to innovate, disrupt, and actually evolve new ideas.
Interesting. You also made a point, where you said ideas come to you. You don't own the idea. It's not your idea. Could you elaborate on that?
So this is an interesting meeting when I had with His Holiness at McLeodganj. There was a very beautiful, thought-provoking point that he had said, that an idea comes to you, not from you. Now, I thought this was very deep, because I always feel that I'm the owner of the idea.
All of us kind of think, all those entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but it was a very deep, powerful thought that an idea comes from you. It comes to you, not from you. So I'm not the owner of the idea. An idea is reaching hundreds of us at the same time. How many times, Sunil, have you woken up with that brilliant idea and Googled it up just to realize that you've just missed a Nobel Prize? So I've gone through this multiple times. Okay. And I keep thinking to myself, how have so many people already done it? I thought this is the most unique, brilliant idea that has just come across my life. And I wake up with the eureka moment, Google it, and I just go depressed with a cup of coffee sitting and thinking, I think 200 have already completed this. So I think that's the whole theme of an idea comes to you and not from you.
Interesting. Now let me switch the gear and ask you, what bike do you ride? And so doctor, biking, and and just share a little bit about the biking side of the world.
So my dad loved biking, so he taught us biking at a very early age, and I have a Hayabusa now, a Suzuki Hayabusa. I believe that bikes are a form of meditation. So as a bike, it's a meditative state when you are with your machine. So biking has been a great passion for me and a great relaxation also. So I have had this very close camaraderie with these machines. They are like a part of my family and life.
Well, hope to see someday ride with you. I also go out. So
wonderful.
So thank you very much for being on our show.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'll just take one more question from you. MyStartupTV is a channel dedicated, or media house dedicated to startups and entrepreneurs. We cover everything around startups. What do you think about us? What we are doing?
When I first saw you all and your crew, and I was actually observing your shirts. I love the designs and the logos. I was quite flabbergasted. The first thing that comes to your mind is, are they crazy? How can this be happening? That's the first spontaneous thought that comes. Like somebody people told me, saying it's not possible. Yeah. I think it's disruptive. I just simply think it's disruptive. And I think, this is what this ecosystem needs. You've given the world something that somebody conventionally cannot imagine. It's very beautiful. And I think that itself shows the disruption you've created in a small ecosystem. By creating something that is very much needed as a platform where people can actually voice out their ideas. And the next 10 years is for Create in India. And you could be the biggest contributor to this country's innovation system, because I think the biggest issue with us is there is so much great work done in this country, but people do not know about it. So playing this role of creating a platform for inventors, innovators, I keep saying this. Why hasn't India got a Nobel Prize in Science for so long? what does it take for us to improve the scientific temperament of a common man. And I think this is the kind of platforms that would make that small shift in your scientific temperament and inspire people to maybe contribute much larger to the country. So kudos to the entire team. I must tell you, under your leadership, this is a much needed initiative. I'm personally sold, very impressed, and I genuinely feel any support I can be of. I'm one of your brand ambassadors now.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That reminds me. Can you talk something about the Mangalore ecosystem, emerging ecosystem? If you can do in Tulu, we'll give it to them.
Yes.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Sort of a message saying, take away from.
As a Mangalorean, I was often told, whenever people say, you're a Mangalorean, they say this coastal belt people, what do? They keep trying to push the borders all the time, So I was telling them, this coastal belt, this Mangalore belt, has something very interesting in it. We cover from the Miss World to the underworld, they've covered everything, very strangely. So I don't know, there's something about Mangalore. It seems to be a planet in itself, I feel. It's very unique. I don't know. I come from Mangalorean genes, so
there's a Western Ghat which is kind of creating.
Yeah, but I'm going to be living and dying a Mangalorean in my heart. So if we can have this conversation in Tulu, it will be more respectful for Mangalore.
Yes, definitely. So my Tulu is not that all that good, but I will still try to make an attempt at with all due apologies and respect to people from my own land.
No.
So now I have to think. Conversation was fine. The message because I will do it half.
Yeah, no problem.
In a message that Mangalore ecosystem, the emerging ecosystem about startups.
Startups patirno dumbu. Yanna entire ecosystem odu kaltini vishayanjina. Lot of the times, innovation, disruption, jugad, engulega college ed engul kaltuda. Now I feel when I look back into school and college, I studied at St. Aloysius College and school. ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಒಂಜಿ ವಿಷಯ ಪುಣಂಜಿನ ಎಂಕ್ಲು ಏಪಲೇನು ಕುಡ್ಲದ ವಿಷಯ ಪಾತಿರ್ನಾಗ ಕುಡ್ಲದಕುಲು ಗ್ಲೋಬ್ ವಾ ಕಾರ್ನರ್ ಇಟ್ಲ ಮುಟ್ಟುದೇರಿತು ಯಾನ್ ತಮಾಷೆಗೆ ಏಪಲ ಅನ್ಪು ನಾಕುಲು ಮಿಸ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾತ ಕವರ್ ಮಲ್ಪಿ
ಸತ್ಯನೇ.
ಸೊ ಈ ಇಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ the Kudlites have a very specific blend of courage, of some amount of out of the box thinking, and some unknown perseverance which comes from that salt water. I don't know what it comes from. So it's very interesting that the Kudla gene is very unique, and I can ಎಂಕಲ್ನ ಕುಡ್ಲದಕ್ಕಲ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಂಕಲ್ನ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ದ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟೇ ಬೇತೆ ಉಂಡು ಬಂತು ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ಅಪ್ಪ ಎಂಕಲ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂಜಿ ಬೇತಿನ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ದಲ್ಕ ತೋಜುವ ಎಂಕಲ್ನ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬೇತೆ ಈ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬರ್ತದೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ ನೀವು ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ್ಬಂಡಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಪಾಲಿಶ್ಡ್ ಕನ್ನಡ which is not they have another slang to Kannada in Bangalore, in Mysore. It keeps changing the dialects, but Mangaloreans have a very soft, polished Kannada which many of them feel is very, very different and sometimes funny. So yenta maraya people tell me, which is what my friends make fun of me, but that is our Tulu style. And the problem is, suddenly we connect with each other.
Correct.
And our conversation goes in another direction. So I think I owe a lot of my inventions and my teachings, my philosophies, to my teachers, to my mother and my parents, my father, and the ecosystem that Mangalore provided. Mangalore was the place where I actually felt I learned frugality. ಕುಡ್ಲಡ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾಸ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ನಿ, ಕುಡ್ಲಡ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಜುಗಾಡ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ನಿ, ಕುಡ್ಲಡ್ ಎಂಕ್ಲೆಂಚ ಅನ್ಪ ಎಂಕ್ಲವೆನ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ಟಡ್ ಎಂಕಲ್. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಲರ್ನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಒಂದು, and some of the funny slangs that we keep thinking about today and laughing. Engulu ennaga panpa engulu that Kudla has a different flavor of its own. So Alekad Kudla ecosystem we'll have to. And just a couple of days back, I was telling that we want to propose a beach fest for innovation in Kudla.
Yes.
And we'll invite you to be a part of this beach fest, because I think Kudla will have to show some disruption from its own style. And Kudla signature will be seen in those disruptions, and one of them is mine. And today, when my machine was taken to Davos, and when I'm taking major pride and claim that I'm a Mangalorean, and this blood has a different salt water that runs here, and I think it's very special to be a part of the Mangalore ecosystem where you've learned, you've bred there, and I think I often keep getting emotional when I talk about Mangalore, because
I can see that. I can feel that.
I think it's a story that can't be completed fully. So it just kind of keeps playing in front of me. But thank you for talking to me about it.
One final question. Mangalore startup ecosystem or business ecosystem how develop ಆರಪಂಡ youth role ಎಂಚ ಒಪ್ಪೋಡು
ಸರ್ ಎನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಮಾಂತಕಡಿ and Mangalore specifically, it is only the youth who can drive this enna prakara, and this innovation ecosystem has to be disrupted from class 5 onwards or earlier. So enna prakara we'll have to go and penetrate into schools, start opening their minds to thinking beyond the conventional borders, educating them on unlearning some of the things and opening up the space, and that can only be done by the youth. We call this reverse mentorship, wherein the younger will teach the seniors, the startup will teach the corporation, the more agile and the mature will be taught by the more younger and the more crass people. This is the kind of ecosystem that we will require to disrupt ecosystems, and we'll have to listen to the youngsters. So enna prakara the Kudla's youth power has to be harnessed into 1,000 manifold to bring out more innovative things. The power of education that we have and academia we have in Mangalore is unimaginable.
World famous.
So it just cannot be only an education hub. It has to become an innovation hub. It has to become an R&D hub. It has to be a place from where Nobel laureates will come from. And that is what I hope for Mangalore.
So let's collaborate and let's do something towards that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on our show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
About the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
So now the topic is about funding MSME digitally. So we have a host of speakers here, where Mr. Suresh Mutyala, Mr. Himanshu, Mr. Shyam Prasad Garu and Mr. Ahmed Khan. All are from different backgrounds belonging to the financial sectors. One is from a nationalized bank, one is from a startup, one is from SIDBI, and the other is from a nationalized bank. So I think we get to hear a lot of, we get more information from them, where how the transformation is happening in the digital world and how that will accelerate the funding in the MSME sector. Welcome to you all, sir. And as we all know that, digital payments has become a very, a common thing for us. I mean, I don't think we can survive today if we don't have a GPay or any kind of a UPI. And all thanks to demonetization is what I have to say, because that actually accelerated the digital payments. And I know a number of factors also have helped in bringing in an ecosystem where the digital payments have become so successful. So let's try to understand how we can utilize these the interfaces and all, which will help us in ease of doing our business in the MSME sector. I would like to invite Mr. Suresh Mutyala, sir, to share his knowledge on this.
Hey, hi. Thanks, Sarita, and good afternoon to all of you. It's really a tough task to stand in between you guys and lunch and still make the presentation interesting. So nevertheless, I'll try to keep it fast and as interesting as possible. So, okay, let's get on with the presentation. Just to give you a background of what's happening in India and the corporate world. Okay. It's not. Which one? Here. Okay. So, looking at the Indian landscape, I mean, it's no big secret. I mean, all of us know it that we are the fastest growing economy. We're growing at the rate of 7.8%. Our exports are growing at 14%. Our GST collections are going through the roof. UPI transactions, I mean, all of us know are growing at almost 82%, and it's a global phenomenon now in the sense that all the leaders are coming into India, watching how this is growing. We've got the third largest unicorn base with about 108 unicorns. Only 2 countries are ahead of us. And our public cloud service, which is just an indication of the kind of compute power as well as the storage that we guys are investing in, that's going through the roof, and it's slated to hit about $13.5 billion by 2026. So all these are going for India. Sorry, a little bit of alignment has gone, I think, just between the... So, but what does it mean for the corporates in India? So, I think the corporate landscape also is changing quite a bit. There is significant improvement in financials in the last 2 or 3 years that we have seen. There is robust financial capital inflow that is happening. The China Plus One strategy, which is essentially that all the FDI that was happening earlier, we used to get sucked in by China. Now the world has realized that we need an alternative to China. So this China Plus One strategy is actually favoring us. So there is a lot of capital flowing into us. Conglomerates, the large corporates are really acquiring more and more corporates, more and more companies. They are betting on consumption, which is retail, infrastructure, and the renewable energy part. And thereby, so what does it mean for SMEs is that there is a shift in focus from just chasing working capital earlier to building efficiencies in the supply chain, both upstream and downstream. So this is also resulting in delivery efficiency that is happening across, and then there are new solutions that are coming in from fintechs, and large corporates are also eyeing end customer facing businesses, because today digital also implies that you can cut off the intermediary in between and directly face your customer, so you can actually have end-to-end flows. So again, like I said, it's all, this is not the end of it. We are poised to grow faster. There are a bunch of numbers here. I mean, all of them just to prove the point that the winds are favoring us. There is enough and more tailwind that's favoring us. I would like to focus on the right hand side of the slide, which is the corporates on the banks part. Corporates and banks thankfully have a very synergetic and symbiotic relationship. There can be no situation when our customers don't do well and the banks do well, or vice versa. So banks and their customers go hand in hand. So you can see that while the corporates ratios are all improving, the banks ratio also simultaneously improving. So debt to equity is improving, debt to assets also increasing, cash to asset ratio is also improving for the corporates. Thereby NPAs and the provision coverage ratio also for the banks also improving quite a bit. So these are the foundations of a very, very buoyant economy, and we are bound to grow better. So the MSME landscape, again, this is no secret. The contribution of MSMEs is very, very large. They significantly contribute about 30% of India's GDP, 44% of the exports, as well as 45% of the manufacturing output of India is contributed by MSMEs. And hence, the India growth story is fairly robust. The MSMEs is also growing fairly fast. In e-commerce, they are growing at a CAGR of about 20%. Credit to MSME, which was earlier a big question mark, that's also growing at 12% year on year. And the government has also infused about 90 billion rupees in the CGTMSE scheme. And digitization is happening quick and fast. I go to my first slide where I said that the public cloud consumption of India is growing at the rate of 23% per annum, which means that it would not have happened without MSMEs adopting digitization as a means to grow. So today 72% of the payments are done digitally. This also has ramifications in the credit cycles that you would give out to your vendors, or you would make payments to your suppliers too. Yeah, 53% of the MSMEs are also adopting digital sales platform, which means that again MSMEs are also reaching out to customers directly. Again, the intermediary is cut out cut out here, and even the government e-marketplace, which is GEM, their transactions also stood at about 15 million. So all things are very favoring well. Just to again give you some numbers on why we are still poised to go greater. I'd like to focus on the smartphone users. The number of smartphone users by 2028 in India is supposed to be hitting about 1.23 billion. Why does this number of 1.23 billion, why is it interesting? It will roughly be the total number of adults in India, which means that by 2028 we think that there are going to be only smartphones and feature phones are going to go out of vogue. Even as of now, almost every adult in the country has a mobile number, which is a mix of, I think 60% of it is smartphone and 40% is feature phones. So digital payments, again, while the whole globe is supposed to grow, is slated to grow at 12%, we would grow at 35%. Even as we stand today, 1 out of 4 digital payment transactions that happen in the world emanates out of India. So that's the kind of contribution that we make. All of it is propelled by the internet penetration, which is again propelled by the cheap data. We are one of the cheapest countries for data. I think only Israel beats us in terms of the cost there. And earlier, about 20 years back, there used to be this huge debate. How will we bridge the India-Bharat divide, the rural-urban divide, or so to say, etc. But I think internet is breaking that barrier also down. So today, 40% of the smartphones are actually bought in rural India than urban India. And if you look at the sales figures of either Amazon or Flipkart, they actually, during their Big Billion Day sale or the Great Indian sale, India sale, etc., most of the sales are actually recorded from Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 cities. So it's no more just an urban Tier 1 story. So this is going really, really deep. And hence, the India stack, which is on the outer layer, which is the digital public infrastructure, this again been a buzzword of late, which is a combination of your Aadhaar, of your UPI, ONDC coming in, etc. So all these government initiatives are taking shape, and there is a middle layer where there are, corporates like yours or MSMEs or corporates which are innovating in the market and to fulfill a customer need, which is really at the core. So all of this stands on 4 basic tenets, which is presenceless, which means that the customer need not be present physically. Earlier, for everything and anything, I'm sure banks also been a party to it. We used to call you to the bank, make you sign 4 papers, if not more. And then only process your transaction. Today, all these authorizations are happening, online. Then it is paperless. Their digital records can move from one place to another. Earlier, I'm very sure all of you have noticed how photocopying shops have gone out of the window. In the sense that when we were studying, you could find a photocopier shop around every corner, right? Today we don't even, you have to search for the photocopying shop. So that is because nobody is wanting any paper these days. It's all digital records. And we've democratized payments thanks to UPI and other payment systems that we implemented. And also consent, which is the latest one off the block, the account aggregator as well as the other initiatives also have made consent also digital. So all these things are again favoring us, and hence we also come out with digital solutions to cater to every requirement of a small and medium enterprise. It could be just a simple bank account to manage their transaction. It could be payment collection solutions. We have got platforms like e-bank guarantee, easy pay, etc. I'll cover that in a bit. Working capital solutions. Primarily for lending today, many of the MSMEs are actually pre-approved, so it's actually a matter of 2 clicks before you get your working capital there. The bigger one is the import and export services. Earlier, import and export services meant that you need to have a dedicated team sitting in your office to track remittances. The moment the remittance comes in, somebody has to actually go to the bank, do all of that. We've digitized all of that. It's all online. So I'll again touch upon that in a bit. Then reconciliation services, or even We also understand that sometimes you are also looking for platforms for growth to find customers, etc. Those solutions also there, and there is personal banking. I'm sorry for the misalignment. I'm a little upset there, but that's all right. So we've got a whole gamut of solutions catered to every requirement of an MSME, and all of this is not again. A cumbersome thing. It's all available on your mobile. It's called InstaBiz, and what we call as the business banking, the super app. It has lending solutions, merchant solutions, trade and forex, payment collection, tax. Everything that you would possibly can want to do in a bank is actually available at the flick of a button. That's available on the app. And not only that, even availing of loan can be as instant if it's pre-approved. Even if you have to call one of our bank officers to open your account, the onboarding is again very simple. We got a smart form wherein we don't take too many documents. All the data is fetched through all the available APIs of Aadhaar, NSDL, etc. We tag you, in a geographic tagging also is possible, and accounts are open rather much more faster than what used to happen earlier. For merchants, there is actually a definitive solution. There is a super merchant account where again instant onboarding can happen, and if your collections is more than 1 lakh rupees per day, you can actually take the super merchant account. The transaction can also be very easy in the sense that EasyPay can be enabled again through InstaBiz on the mobile app. Credit can be availed, and we also have a easy online store to help you with growth, etc. So the impact of it has been that our merchant spends have been growing. People who've taken our merchant solutions are growing very fast. We've seen the turnovers grow at the rate of almost 61%. Bulk payments, again, big pain area, because you are trying if you have to make many transactions or many payments in one go. Earlier you used to do one transaction at a time. Today you can club all the transactions together and shoot one approval, and everything goes. And even the narration is actually customizable. Sometimes you make a transaction and 6 months later your chartered accountant will call you and say, "Sir, what's this transaction all about?" So you will not remember that. But here with these solutions you can actually customize your own narration, and so as to make it easier to retrieve your records. Electronic DG is another innovation from ICICI Bank. Bank guarantees are typically pieces of stamp paper that is passed on from hand to hand or bank to bank. We've digitized that also. You can initiate your bank guarantee electronically. You need not go to any bank. I mean, you can upload the format and then the bank will transact it. And if the beneficiary is also willing to take it through the NESL route, we can also provide that, so that everything is paperless end to end. There are instant lending solutions also that we offer. It could be pre-approved, it could be do-it-yourself journeys. All can start from our mobile application as well as the corporate internet banking that we have. And we try to make it as easy as possible. In fact, people who have registered with GST and the GST records are available online, those can be pulled instantly, and an instant approval can be given. I mean, even if you do not have any relationship with the bank earlier. Yeah, these are steps that are involved in availing that. Cross-border transactions, like I was saying earlier, when there was a remittance, then you have to classify that remittance, go to the bank, submit papers, and then wait for the right time, for the right exchange rate, in your opinion, to hit upon, etc. And all of it used to take 2 to 3 days. Today, it's all really online. I mean, so 95% of inward remittances for ICICI Bank customers actually get settled online, which means that the customer does not need to visit the branch. All the declarations are taken online, and if KYC compliant, we actually credit the customer immediately. You can even give these options of you can choose a target exchange rate also in some other cases, where we give you you can say that okay, and when the rate hits this exchange rate at let's say 83.85, you please convert my money. So you could even do that. So all these solutions do exist. Again, we made it very we were one of the first banks to actually digitize most of these import and export transactions. There are embedded solutions. If you are using an ERP, we could do a host-to-host integration, or we have plugins immediately available. If you have used Tally, for example, there's a plugin that is available and you can put in your bank account, which means that you initiate the transaction in your system, which is a Tally. The bank automatically takes the instructions and executes the transactions and makes it easy. Which was earlier two different systems which do not talk to each other. The benefit of it, the big benefit of it is, we need not do the same transaction twice, once in Tally and then another time in the bank account. Two, there is auto reconciliation that happens between the two systems. So these are embedded solutions which you can avail of, and hence we call this as a universal app for your business on the go. So what we are essentially doing is to get the entrepreneur free of all free of the headache or hassle of dealing with the bank and going to the bank and do reconciliation, etc., so that they can concentrate on purely business development themselves. And not only this, even your personal financial needs are available in one click. Okay, so we have iMobile for, I think the alignment is all gone. I'm good. So all the times, so we have iMobile for personal banking requirement, which is rated as one of the best banking apps that's available today. And the testimony to that is that we have a bunch of awards, and we are not the only award. We keep receiving awards, but we always continuously strive to cater to your requirements. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. That was a very informative session, sir. In fact, we have covered a whole spectrum of finance, from B2C to B2B to an instant OD and import and export finance. I haven't found a point where I can ask you a question. Thank you so much.
Respected panel members, team CII Telangana, and participants and all MSME entrepreneurs. Good afternoon. I know it's lunchtime. Good afternoon. Yeah. In Union Bank, is there no? In Union Bank, we are having centralized processing centers for doing this MSME credit appraisal in the name of MSME loan points. So I'm heading one of the MSME loan point in Hyderabad. So the initial process, whenever any MSME client comes to us for this loan, so the initial thing is that we'll have a one-to-one interaction. So we'll discuss with them what's their credit requirements. So we are working on a brick and mortar system. So customers looking for MSME loans, they approach our branches. Either they approach our branches or we approach the customers to promote our products. So like today I'm here to approach you for your MSME loan requirements. If any of you approach me today here for loan requirement, it's not through digital, because the topic here is on funding MSMEs through digital. So it's not digital if you approach me here, it is through CII. So in the process of this loan appraisal, so we take all your data, like your project report, audited balance sheets, your GST returns, and all such data we take, and my team at MSME point, we process it and we'll take a decision whether to go ahead with that loan or not. So mostly it's a conventional way of doing any credit decision. So how many of you approached any bank for working capital limits or any MSME loan? Any of you approached? So you might be aware of this process, giving CMA data, audited financials and all, GST returns and all. So interestingly, in the last 2 to 3 years, I can say, so at Union Bank, we have digitalized a few of our MSME loan products. When I say digitalized means, you don't need to approach any branch or you don't need to approach any office of Union Bank. Simply, there is a link available in Union Bank website or Union Bank app. So you can go through that link, give your details, the initial, you can log in through your mobile number and email ID, give your KYC like your Aadhaar, PAN card, and after that your financial data like your audited balance sheets, GST returns, IT returns. So with this and give your requirement like which loan you require term loan or working capital limits. With this system in the background, run your this eligibility check based on predefined algorithm. If you are eligible based on the decision rule, you will get the sanction immediately and instantly. And the good thing here is that you can do documentation also. So there is an e-documentation facility available. Once this is done, your account will be credited with this loan amount. So now this is all the digital things that we are doing at Union Bank. As I said, for digital process, we named it in Union Bank as a straight-through processing because it's just straight. You can approach the bank through internet. So in the straight-through processing, we have 3 stages. Like you are getting in-principle approval. That means based on the information that you have given, so you will get a prima facie in-principle approval. So it's not final approval, but you will get in-principle approval. With this in-principle approval, you can approach any branch which you, as per your convenience. So the particular branch will do the further processing and you will get the final approval. That is for in-principle approval. And there is a stage you can reach up to sanction. So for loans up to some 25 lakhs to 50 lakhs. So based on the information that you submitted in the system, you will get the sanction letter itself. So that is up to sanction. And there is a few products where you can go up to disbursement stage also. So if your loan doesn't require post-sanction, there is no interaction is required with the branch. So you can do e-documentation. Your loan account will be released and your account will be credited with that amount. So that is the disbursement stage. That is complete end-to-end. The in-principle is like an initial thing, and sanction is, I can say, up to 75% you reach, and disbursement is complete 100%. So all these 3 things are available with Union Bank. So through this straight-through processing, we are offering now 4 products. One is the MSME loan in principle up to 5 crores. Another one is GST gain. So based on your GST returns, you will get loan up to 25 lakhs. This is through instantly through our link. And another one is to promote women entrepreneurs. We are having a scheme called MyStartupTV. Though under MyStartupTV we do up to 10 crores funding, but through this digital mode we are doing up to 10 lakhs. And of course, all you know Mudra loans up to 10 lakh. For Mudra loans, the customer now no need to approach any branch. It's simply through this portal you can get the approval. So first I'll discuss on this in-principle approval, how one MSME unit can get 5 crore loan of this in-principle approval. What up? Can you please open it? No? Go to the 3rd slide. Yeah, thank you. So in principle, up to 5 crores for MSME units. So this is the link for MSME units. It's available on MSME Union Bank website. Once you go through this link, so there it will ask you are a new client or existing customer. That means you are having any account with Union Bank, you are existing customer, and if you are not having any account, then you are a new client. So if you are a new client, go to that new client, new customer, and give your phone number and email ID. So with that, you will get OTP. That means that's authenticating your just like your mobile number and email ID. So after that, system will ask you to provide your basic KYC details like your Aadhaar, PAN card, that's the basic KYC. And after that, your IT returns. And if your business unit is having audited financials, you need to upload these audited financials by linking with ITR portal. You don't need to physically upload these PDFs. It is integrated with ITR portal, income tax filing. So from that, you need to download it, and here you need to upload it in Union Bank website. And after that, again, it is integrated with the GST returns. With your GST user ID and password credentials, you need to give upload all your GST filings in Union Bank website. And your bank statement. If you may be having bank account with any other bank, that statement of for last 6 to 12 months you need to upload. So that means you are giving your basic KYC, your audited financials, and your GST, and your bank statement. So with this, my system will run your eligibility criteria, how much sales you have done in the last 2 to 3 years, and whether it is matching with the GST returns, and whether you may be making 1 crore sales with the GST, but whether that 1 crore is credited in your bank account or not. What's your CIBIL score? What's your CIBIL score of your company, your firm? So with all these things, my system will run through a decision rule. If you're eligible, then system instantly will give you in principle approval. With that in principle approval, you can approach any, so this is one snapshot of that in principle approval. You will get it like your credit facility, amount, and tentative rate of interest, and all other basic terms of a loan. So with this, you can approach any of my branches and you can go ahead with the further processing. This is about in principle approval. And what's the advantage with this? The advantage is that quicker response. That means instantly you are getting one in principle approval, and it's just in 30 minutes entire process will be done. So you don't need to approach any branch. By sitting in your factory, in your firm, in your office, you can do this, and within 30 minutes you will get the in principle approval. And what's the benefit for a banker is that I'm getting your ITRs, your audited balance sheets, and your GST returns. These are all directly downloaded from respective portals. So I don't need to check whether your audited balance sheet, whether it is really genuine or not, whether your GST returns are genuine or not. So for me, it's easy to do the due diligence. For me, it's easy to know what's your CIBIL score, what's your credit history, what's your banking transactions in the last 1 year. So it's easy for a banker to take a decision also. So that's all about getting an in principle approval. And another scheme is in the name of Union MSME GST gain. It's simply based on your GST returns, we fund working capital limits. Actually, under GST gain, we are doing up to 5 crores. That means manually, so if you approach any of my branches, we'll do 5 crore. But if you want this loan through digital channel, digital mode, again, the link is available in Union Bank website or in our View Map, Union Bank app. So with this app, in this scheme, with the link, maximum you will get up to 25 lakh based on your GST returns. So you have to upload. So the remaining things are same. You have to, once you enter into this link, you have to give your basic KYC details, upload your financials, and upload your last 12 months GST returns. So based on your last 12 months GST returns, my system will calculate what's your level of operations in your firm and how much you can, we can see whether the last 12 months, whether the trend is increasing or the trend is decreasing. Whether it is increasing, that means yes, your business is doing good. So whether your, in the last 12 months, whether your business is seasonal or not. So everything system will check, and based on your GST returns, the system will sanction your loan. Again, here it is only a working capital limit we'll do in the form of OD and cash credit limit. So to meet your day-to-day business requirement. So maximum will be up to 25 lakh, and all constitutions like individuals, proprietary partnership, LLPs will get loan based, or eligible. And the margin is only 20%, and there is no collateral is requirement because we cover this loan with CII to MSE, so no separate collateral is required. Those customers who want 25 lakh loan working capital limit, so they can avail this scheme. So we have another 2 products in the name of MajorSunilShetty and Mudra loan. In these both loans, we do up to 10 lakh. Again, the link is available in our Union Bank website. The process is same for all these products, though the amounts are varying. So you have to log in with your, register with your mobile number and email ID, upload your KYC and all your IT returns and bank statement. System will do the calculations and give your eligibility. So these all things are available in Union Bank website. Definitely, I hope you will enjoy these credit facilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shankar. I have a small question for you, sir. Yeah. So in the Union MSME GST gain, you had mentioned, yeah. So we had mentioned that you can approach through the portal and obtain a loan up to 25 lakhs. But so what would be the turnaround time for any of these sanctions?
Turnover time you're asking through digital mode, ma'am?
Yeah, through digital
No,
mode.
everything will be completed in 30 minutes.
No. What you're saying is you get the in principle sanction.
No, in principle is for 5 crore. There are 4 schemes.
Right.
If you want a MSME loan up to 5 crore, so the first one is that where you get in principle approval.
That's only for the first one, not for the rest.
No. For all the schemes, so everything will be completed in 30 minutes. Max time is 30 minutes. For that, if you want a loan up to 5 crores, initially you will get an in principle approval, and after that, since it is a bigger amount,
higher
so
value.
with the in principle approval, you can approach any of my branches and you can go for further processing.
Exactly. So
For GST gain of 25 lakh, so everything will be done through internet only. You don't need
digital
to,
mode.
yes, everything.
Okay.
So everything will be done in 30 minutes.
Okay, that I understood. So my question again is, in the in-principle mode, suppose you have a sanction letter, say for around 4 crores.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once we approach the bank, how long will the bank take to process
Yes,
it?
ma'am. So it depends upon the quality of the data that you submit. See, most of the time, what we see is that the data that you submit, like CMA data, project report, and say for example, you are approaching a bank for a term loan. Say for example, you are establishing a manufacturing unit or some service unit. So you approach a bank for term loan. So we need to know for the basis for the term loan is that project cost. So we need to know what is your project cost. So arrive the project cost, we'll ask you all quotations, like what machinery you are going to purchase. So it's all the data that you submit. Once we get, and if you are offering any property, see up to 5 crores again we'll do under CCTMS, we don't require collateral. And you want lower rate, you can offer collateral. If you are offering collateral, then we need, we engage this work for legal and valuation work. If legal takes time, then if legal and legal reports, valuation reports, and CMA data, project report, quotations, everything available, mostly it takes 7 working days.
7 working days. So you mean to say the in-principle sanction letter will actually verify the credentials of the promoter?
Yes.
But again, it's all based on the rest of the documents?
I can say, ma'am, if you got an in-principle approval, means it's half done. So your 50% of the work is done.
Okay, subject to other documents.
Yes, it's like you got the approval. You can avail this 5 crore loan subjected to fulfillment of all other terms and conditions. So I can say it's half work done.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for it. So now I request Mr. Ahmed Khan to take up give us presentation.
Thanks, ma'am. Thanks, CII, my esteemed panel, and dignitaries and guests for giving me this opportunity. I would say this one slide alone summarizes the spirit of this summit, and I clarify that in the next couple of slides. SME 360 Accelerator. I mean, let's begin with the theme of the summit itself, making MSMEs future ready through digital transformation. I think it largely can be summarized with these 2 approaches. One is afford digital funding, and thanks to my colleagues before me who spoke in length about the digital funding spectrum, the scope of the products, the timeline, the quantum, and everything. So I'll gonna keep it a little quick. So digital funding, I would say it's addressing the problem at hand. It's addressing a scenario that is at hand. While the larger solution is actually having a virtual 360 consulting platform, right? I believe in the spirit of the summit, making MSMEs future ready, it's not just addressing the problems at hand, it's also addressing the problems that are along the journey that would make this independent, unmaneuvered, unguided SMEs or MSMEs into high growth companies that could potentially be capable of, say, an SME listing or an PE fundraise. Today, SME is the quantum, or the MSME is the quantum, or the nature of business that they do, it's hardly it's making its meat. It's largely to do about getting through the processes of the day, getting through the process of the month, getting through the targets of the year. But if you really look at if there is a vision and a larger goal towards enabling and growing systems in place, you largely see great lacuna, whether it is in terms of having system integration, whether it is corporate governance, whether it is virtual CFO systems in place, or whether it is your IT enablement. So hence I would say the second aspect of this approach, the virtual 360 consulting, addresses actually the problems that are that actually enable the SMEs strengthen over the journey to actually be capable companies that can actually be worthy of private equity investments, worthy of being SME listed. So I would talk about the first context on a very brief, since my previous counterparts already touched base upon it. Digital funding, these are a full spectrum of solutions, or at least the larger solutions that I deal with, we deal with today. The ones on the left side, the secured and the unsecured funding structures, my colleagues have already touched base upon it, hence I took the benefit to rather focus on the right side of the subject, which is structured debt. Structured debt today is largely, I would say, these are customized solutions. Particularly now, the reason I mentioned it's an investment banker viewpoint is these are solutions that needs to be sat down with a consultative mindset, understanding as to what else is possible apart from the conventional working capital, ODCC, term loans and project finance kind of capacities, whether it is secured or unsecured without a collateral. Now today, across the MSME space, I would address this structured debt offerings, whether it is venture debt, revolving credit, RBF, invoice discounting, NCDs, PO financing, bridge financing, acquisition financing. All these are broadly understanding the end goal or the end requirement of the entity, right? And understanding how to structure it, keeping into account how do you underwrite the credit norms, how do you meet the end goals, how do you make the transaction happen. I would say these are largely digital solutions to a certain extent, to a rather greater extent actually. But the fact that today these solutions are being deployable to the market, even the thought of even having the solution deployed to the market is by the fact that these are supported by the digital evaluation mechanism behind it. I mean the various evaluation mechanisms and KYC authentication mechanism that the bankers spoke of earlier, this take a little above it, so that you can look at the entity with a more broader and a more introspective mindset, right? So otherwise the solutions are pretty much self-explanatory from the nomenclature itself. So I wouldn't dwell on it more, because again the entire funding aspect or doing the fundraising alone is part of fixing the problem. It's part of addressing the problem as of now. But the larger aspect that responds to the spirit of the summit is actually a consultative approach, hence SME 360 accelerator. Before I say what happens under this SME 360 accelerator, I would say what is it all about. SME 360 accelerator is, in very simple terms, a unified holistic platform that is all about the entire spectrum of business consulting services that an SME and MSME might need, right? From covering from incorporation to business advisory, to legal, to corporate governance, to virtual CFO services, to the end milestone of fundraising, to an extent of even listing. So today, this is a first of a kind pilot or an accelerator that we're doing in the Hyderabad ecosystem now, with the collective guidance of T-Hub, all the major trade bodies, CII, HICIA, all the major trade bodies and the business forums put together. Because today, individually in silos, we are not able to address the end-to-end solution that an SME might need, that actually builds them from being an independent and unguided entities to actually grow into high-growth entities that could be funded or listed. So hence the platform. This broadly talks about 4 pillars of support. Business consulting, it covers all aspects of your incorporation to business reports to due diligence to your valuation aspects. Strategic consulting is all to do about business growth, BD, business growth strategies. You know, how do you access new markets? How do you take to new markets? How do you enter new product areas? I mean, it's a very detailed scope of an exercise.
Mr. Ahmed, a small request, could you actually finish your presentation?
Yeah, this is my last slide. Virtual CFO advisory is the crux of this consulting. From the point of view that one large element that SMEs lag, because of which you can call them independent entities or unguided entities, is for the fact that they don't have a full-time CFO on board. They need a guidance from a CFO who could take them to this longer journey of getting the systems enablement in place, corporate governance in place, working capital structuring in place, to the extent of fundraising, which is the last aspect of it. Now, fundraising is the last solution. I mean, it is largely to do at particular life stage of the business, what might be required, like the structured and unstructured solutions that I just spoke a while ago. But broadly, this platform is over and above the fundraising aspect of it. It's broadly building the other support and the long run elements towards actually making them growth entities that today a local SME ecosystem can be proud of. Not just being independent entities, but capable high growth firms which can be worthy of being listed. That's it for me, guys. We can take up the Q&A session during the lunch hour, because I guess we are already lagging behind time.
Yeah, we are behind schedule, Mr.
Thanks.
Thank you for the informative session, Mr. Ahmed. Now I request Mr. Himanshu to give his presentation.
Thank you so much. Good to have the presentation up. To start with, I'll just give you a broad outlook of what SIDBI's been and what SIDBI's been doing, although most of us do know what it is. We have been around for more than 3 decades. Largely, we are a refinancing agency. We do a lot of institutional finance. Our institutional finance book stands at more than 3.5 lakh crores today. You think of a bank, most of them are customers, including the private one. We do a lot of direct credit. A few of our customers are here. We have a lot of stress off late. Of course, we've been doing green finance for nearly 1.5 decades when we started with JICA. But green finance has taken a new fillip with the Prime Minister announcing Panchamrit. We do a lot of work on cluster development, venture capital, guarantee programs, policy advocacy, and of course, we'll talk about the digital initiatives which SIDBI has done of late, so that it comes in with the theme of the program. A small snapshot of where we stand. Today, we started in 91 with a balance sheet of around 8,000 crores, and today we closed at around 3.75 lakh crores. We aim to close this year much higher. We are a AAA rated institution established by an Act of Parliament. We have more than 95 branches. Very lean organization with only 1,000 employees. And we are 100% owned either by Government of India or Government of India owned entities. Just as a snapshot, I wanted to leave this thought behind with people that green finance today is something which is very important to us. We have been trying to embed the green finance culture into our clients. And we also work on the Green India financial systems along with the Shakti Foundation and the AFD, who are an international partner, for shaping the dialogue with IBA, with RBI, and with the Government of India. We have a lot of international partners there. We have done a saving of around 1800 gigawatt hours per annum through our interventions so far. Some numbers are there. We have a solar mission where we want to actually put up 2,500 solar rooftops every year. We also have a specialized scheme for financing EVs and EV related infrastructure. We bring out Sustainability Perception Index in collaboration with one of the finest agencies in India. And we also run the GRID project, which is largely concentrating on switching fuels and other things to make it greener. Then we talk of, as I come to what have been the digital initiatives that SIDBI has done so far. We've been largely, all our digital initiatives have been based on utilizing and anchoring on the various digital public infrastructure which is available, the identity rails, which is Aadhaar, PAN, KYC, bureaus, e-sign, GST, ITR, the payment rails, which is UPI, RuPay, NASH, Bharat QR, other enabled payments, and now of course the data sharing rails, which come in form of the Open network and account aggregators. So we talk a little bit about the various digital platforms which SIDBI has created as a public good. We started with the Udyami Mitra platform, and today we have 160,000 bank branches, 160,000 bank branches on the platform, and 200,000 community centers which are integrated on the platform, which can be approached to getting in-principle approvals for small loans through the platform. We run 7 flagship Government of India programs for credit and subsidy for these schemes, including the MOHUA program, and approximately 50 lakh units have been supported through this. Then we have the PSB 59, which was spoken about recently. It is an outcome of an initiative which we started in 2018. We tried to create a credit marketplace which actually democratizes credit. So you, as a customer, has a choice, where you want to pick up your credit from. This provides quick loan offers and then more than 30 lenders. And you will be actually surprised to know that in the last 3 years, this has done 55,000 crores worth of sanctions. 55,000 crores, not a small amount. And out of this 55,000 crores, and these are MSME loans, nearly 42,000 crores have got disbursed. So, there's a lot of talk that you get in-principle approvals, but a lot of them fructify. Then, of course, there's the RXIL, which is the TREDS platform run by SIDBI and NSE jointly, which addresses the delayed payment listing of MSME, which MSMEs have been facing of long. On the platform, nearly 25,000 crores of worth of invoices have been discounted. We have purchasers as well as 2,000 MSMEs on the platform. The latest initiative which was done with the Ministry of MSME is to actually create, formalize the informal sector and created the Udyam Assist platform, which allows the informal units to register and obtain a Udyam Aadhaar. As we actually progressed, and SIDBI did a lot of things on microfinance, and then we saw that the cost of credit to people who are seeking microfinance or moving up the chain from microfinance was too high, and we thought that we should come out with a scheme where we can actually reduce this cost. So to make affordable credit available to the informal micro enterprises, we do loans up to 50,000 to 500,000, that is 5 lakh rupees on these, and these are totally platform driven digital loans. There have been more than 1 lakh beneficiaries so far, and 85% of them are women. We work with MFIs, we work with banking correspondent companies, corporates and aggregators, even NBFCs in implementing this. And this is largely a digital process where application, credit appraisal and documentation is all digital. Only the monitoring and follow-up is physical. So we call it a physical process so far, because monitoring is something which you've not yet been able to figure out as to how to do it. So just to take you in, you have an app where a person applies for a Prayas loan through the mobile app. Same eKYC, geotagging, bureau check, etc. happen through the app. as he gives permissions. And then on the Prayas web portal, the SIDBI appraising officer will appraise and close in the loan. And once the risk rating and sanction rejection has been done, on signing off on the digital document execution, the loan would be disbursed. So this is an end-to-end digital process which is working very smoothly with around 51 partners in the country. To address what our friend Ahmed was saying, that invoice discounting is a one-to-one kind of thing, and to democratize that, SIDBI worked in the RBI sandbox, and we have piloted and now commercialized GST CII. So this actually rides on the GST database and allows people to discount their invoices and obtain instant credit against them. So there's a three-stage journey. You register, you get a loan offer, and you do e-documentation, and then you get a disbursement and a repayment. Just taking you across, so these are the building blocks. You have as we know, 35% share of GST is coming from MSMEs. GST CII promotes cash flow-based lending, encourages registration of MSMEs on GST, and collaborates with industry initiatives. We have standardized open protocols, we use OCEN, Account Aggregator Framework, India Stack, which is GST and e-sign, stamp, e-nash, etc. And that it is end-to-end digitized. What the journey is that you go on the app, use your mobile number, register, give access to your GST details. Once you are registered, you can choose your banks and loan, you can do your e-documentation. And once you have done your e-documentation, you get a limit. And on the basis of that limit, you can discount your invoices and you get disbursement into the identified account. The repayment is through e-nash. So you set up a auto debit and disbursement will happen. This is actually going to be very useful for people in future. You know, we feel that this will actually do away with the working capital requirements of the industry. So this is where the future is going. This is the disbursement and repayment part of it. Then of course we have something which is...
Sorry for interrupting. Could you actually brush through it quickly, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you actually rush through it quickly so everybody's
Yeah, this is the last slide.
Thank you, sir.
So this is the last slide which I have, which is a product which we have bought in, which is end-to-end digitized for MSME. It is a straight-through process which has, which uses all the digital public infrastructure, GST, MCA, ITR. All of us do the same thing. My friends at Union also do the same thing. We also, in addition, use risk assessment using Jakarta, FitScore, which is a product of CIBIL and OPL, and CMR. And the underwriting is entirely end-to-end digital, and so is the documentation and disbursement. So you need to get into our website, log in, create your requirement, and loans up to 1 crore, depending on your leverage, etc., can be done, can be disbursed within 48 hours.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
Products and services, and also most importantly their experiences with use cases, how to adopt digital transformation amongst all the MSMEs. We are already talking of I 5.0, and you all would be wondering, we have not yet been done with I 4.0, and 5.0 is being mentioned in most circles here. We heard in the morning session a great deal about sustainability. So all that is happening is we are trying to integrate I 4.0 with making it more human-centric and making sure the man and machine coexist, and sustainability as the other aspect. So it's an integration of I 4.0 and I 5.0. So I don't want to steal the thunder from our speakers here. We have Mr. Tushar from Mahindras and Mahindras. We have Atom State represented by Mr. Venkat, who's going to talk about AI and ML applications and how to implement them in our businesses. And we have Karthik from CADFEM, which is a global partner company for ANSYS. Some of you would be using ANSYS software. ANSYS also has been on the forefront of startups funding. We're going to hear all about this. Over to Mr. Tushar to tell us all about digital transformation and to what extent M&M has benefited by providing end-to-end solutions. Over to you, Tushar. Thank you.
So, good morning friends, colleagues and seniors. It's my pleasure to be presenting in MSME Summit organized by CII. Before I move to my presentation, first of all I will like to thanks to entire CII team for providing this platform to all the industries where we can share our knowledge, our initiatives, our practices, which can be helpful and mutually benefited to all the industry. Moving on to my presentation, first of all I would like to we are representing Mahindra & Mahindra Auto and Farm Sector Division. We will be showcasing our journey towards the low-cost automation. Precisely, we are going to touch the low-cost automation sector. There are selective case studies which will be benefiting other industries that we are focusing on, and affordable digital technologies. So that is our agenda for today's presentation. With me, there is my team, Mahindra & Mahindra team. So Mr. Uma Shankar and Mr. Sridhar has also joined this session. So we are representing Mahindra & Mahindra panel. So our subject for today is low-cost automation and affordable digital technologies that we are touching upon. And we are having our manufacturing units present in Telangana state at Hyderabad, both auto and farm division. So most of the case studies are from that only. This is the overview of Mahindra Group. We are having presence in 11 sectors, 150 plus companies, 100 plus countries. Particularly, we are today focusing on farm and automotive division. Perhaps we are the one and only who are manufacturing two-wheeler and 20-wheeler, both the things under auto and farm divisions. This is our global footprint. We are present in multiple countries. Our R&D centers are there in multiple countries and also manufacturing. This is our product portfolio at Hyderabad plant in Telangana specifically. So we have recently launched 2 new products in auto also and farm also. Both are our techno-savvy products. One is EV related commercial vehicle, and then our all new take pack ready tractor, which are going to be which are launched at global platforms, and that will be having many new features introduced first time in the tractor industry. So these are different 7 models which are introduced through OJA that has been recently launched on 15th of August. Focusing on to our journey as a Mahindra and Auto Farm sector, this is our journey toward digitization. So we have started with our strategy and our program formation since 2016-17, and this is the way we have moved ahead. So we have focused on multiple themes like IoT, robotics, digital operations, which will be coming forward into this presentation. All this has been integrated in our own customized MES platform, which are called as Drona. So why technology? So these are the challenges which industry is facing nowadays. So increasing model complexity, improve competitiveness in the market. To survive in the market, we have to improve all these parameters. We have to go through this complexity of the models and yet maintain our margins. So for doing that, we have adopted the different approach. We have simplicity, customer centricity, process robustness, flexibility. These are we have adopted into our approach, and working on these initiatives, we have formed our case studies, which we are going to showcase with you. So these are the major themes: low cost automation, digitized operations, IoT, and new technologies. I will skip this slide because this is going to be covered in future. Okay. In low cost automation, we are going to present a few case studies. So this is our main drive, no fault forward. So whatever we are manufacturing on the particular station, That has to be first time right, and there should not be any fault going forward to the inspection. So based on that things, we have showcased few of the case studies. This is our one of the case studies in which we have addressed near about 400 plus failure modes, and from those failure modes we have categorized them into four different buckets in our assembly operations, like torquing, part missing, wrong assembly, similar looking part. These are the areas which need to be addressed for covering major failures in our processes. So these areas we have addressed through basically we are having both legacy of operations. There are old plants which are running on the manual operation. So we have gone for the requirement based, need based digital solutions on those stages. So that we are focusing. So these are few of the examples which we have done at our plants. So for torque missing, there are legacy tools which are pneumatically operated. So this has been fitted with some electronic and IoT based devices to control the torque and specification to meet the requirements that we are addressing those with the first torque missing case study. The second is part missing, in which we are going for the multiple type of sensors, right from proximity sensors, inductive based sensors, laser sensors, steel vision sensors. So depending on the requirement, we are adopting this sensor technologies to detect the part missing particular part missing area. Then in wrong assembly, we are also, this is one of the case study in which we have used a laser based sensor so that we will know that the part orientation is right and there is no wrong assembly being made on the particular stage. Then similar looking parts, for this we have also used different vision technologies. So at the low cost area we have used the color based sensing so that we will identify that the part is right or wrongly assembled. This is one of the video which will showcase to you how we have modified the stage for no fault forward. This is a piston and ring assembly. After this assembly, this part has been checked for multiple parameters before going forward with different technologies, like from scanning, from vision sensing, sensor based sensing. Once it passes through all these parameters, then only the part will go forward. So we are ensuring that whatever we are producing on the stage, at that stage only it will be addressed. So these are the benefits of it. 100% built-in quality, that is a focus area. This is one of the case study of spot missing concern, in which the operator actually do the welding job on the station, and many a times the operator misses the spot. So this particular case study is focusing on some small electronic devices which are fitted inside the controllers, and those are connected with the assembly fixture, so that unless and until the required spots has been taken, the assembly will not get dismantled from that particular fixture. So this is the basically case study. This is a small representation of the process. Once the operator will finish the entire spotting, then only the part will get disassembled from the stage. Then these are the weld spot counters. So many times, many assemblies have different models, and with respect to different model, these are different spot weld configurations. So with respect to that, it is a complex operation for operator to remember all these spots. So we have integrated this particular spot counter with different models, so that whenever the particular model get assembled on the fixture, that particular model spot counter will be activated, and unless and until operator weld those many spots, it will not get disassembled from the fixtures. This is to address the model complexity that is getting added into the portfolios. So once the required spot has been reached, then only the fixture will get declamped. So the benefits of this has again no fault forward, so 100% built-in quality. This is one of the case study for IoT. This particular case study, nowadays we are having a lot of technologies available inside the tools where we can connect the tools with the softwares and we can have the data for the traceability. But this particular case study is focusing on the legacy tools which we have modified for getting right specification, product and process specification, and then this data is getting logged into the software and it is represented on the dashboard. So this is with the very few thousands of amount we have done it inside our plant only. So this is basically a dashboard which represents different torquing status of the tools, and with respect to particular model number or particular tractor number, you can basically have this data available with you, so to know that the process has been done right. This is small video for that. In new technology, we are actually now focusing more on vision-based systems. Wherever the sensors will not work, so we are focusing to go for vision-based systems. And also at new production lines, we are also focusing to address critical stations with robots and cobots. So this is one of the examples which we are working in Hyderabad plant only. So this is cabin assembly line, so in which the electrical testing of different lights and different indicators have been done by the vision cameras. So this cabin is being tested by cameras and the data has been stored into the softwares for future traceability. So with robots and cobots, we in Mahindra as entire AFS, we are having 500 plus robots, 50 plus cobots installed. So whatever new lines are getting installed, on which we are also focusing to go for critical operations like hemming, sealant, and then painting. For those things we are going for, we are choosing the critical operations and we are selective in our approach to go for the robotics and entire automation. This is one of the video of painting robots facility installed at Hyderabad. This is a similar application process done by cobot. So these are the initiatives or I can say automations which are helping us to make a first time right product and no fault forward. As I told you in my first slide, this is our MES platform. This is manufacturing execution system. This is customized developed for our operations. We call it as a drona. So this we use for connecting our different operations together. Like in our company, we are having a different set of operation right from sales side order till the dispatch. So to have the entire visibility of the processes and to swift decision making and also to manage the operations digitally and also effectively, this platform has been developed. So many of the tools like process data, many of the plug data as well as the operation data has been logged onto this platform, and from this we are having a visibility of entire process and what is going right or what is going wrong into the operations. So I will leave you with, this is my last slide I think, and I will leave you with small AV after this. So 2-3 minutes AV is there. It is self-explanatory, you can easily understand.
Thank you, Tushar. It's very heartening to see the automation right in our neighborhood, Hyderabad. I would urge members here, if there's any opportunity to visit the plant, which M&M has been encouraging us to visit the plant every year. I've done that, and it's a great learning experience. And to see all the automation happening from our own Indian company, I think it fills my heart. Thank you, Tushar. We will have the Q&A at the end, the other two speakers completing their talk. We are allocating good amount of time because the subjects are very interesting. I'm sure there are many queries from the audience here. I request our next speaker, Mr. Karthik Chittapu, who is the Director, Customer Excellence from CAD-FEM, India, to take over.
First of all, thanks for inviting me for this conference, and it's my pleasure to give a small update on, what are the new technologies or digital engineering in terms of simulations. Okay, can you go to the first slide, please? Oh, I can go. Yeah. So I come from a company called CAD-FEM, and I think the name itself says much about digitalization, right? So it's the CAD, which is a virtual designing of yours, and there's the FEM, which is a virtual simulation of your products. How many of you are doing a product development using simulations here? Okay, only 3 hands I see. Okay. I think we'll see why it is so important for MSMEs, to do a simulation-driven product development. And we also talk about a digital engineering in a very broader sense, not only just in terms of product development, starting from the conceptual phase to the in-product phase, where we are talking about ADAS, digital twins, and other things. Okay? So, just a brief intro of our company. CAD-FEM is basically a global company, which is our parent company is in Germany, and in India we started in 2007. So what we are majorly into is, we actually are one of the largest producers of simulation technologies in the world. Okay. Along with it, we also kind of have 40 years of experience in terms of rapid product development and also innovating for a lot of our customers. Especially we deal with a lot of MSMEs in both India as well as Germany, Southeast Asia, and all other countries. And also we deal with a lot of bigger customers, starting with like Bosch or let's say Grundfos and other companies too. Okay. And the major advantage what we have as a company, a group is because of our global presence, we could develop an expertise in different physics, because simulations, when you talk about it, or digital engineering, when you talk about it, it's no more one single engineering or one single physics for that sake. So we have a vast range of physics which we are dealing with, starting with the structures. We talk about CFD, we talk about electromagnetics part of it, both high frequency, low frequency. Like low frequency when I talk about like motors and all. When I talk about high frequency, I'm talking about PCB boards, radars, and then we are talking about optics, where you are talking about lidars, laser weapons or optics lenses and everything, right? And then we are talking about embedded systems and also the functional safety and cyber security of your products. That's becoming very much important nowadays, because of a lot of OEMs are asking to make sure that your product is, because you have a software and it should not be hacked, right? So the cyber security becomes very, very important for all your products when you're offering it to your customers, right? So all this comes into picture, and those all things we can simulate and test and virtually test them and get a much more insight into all of this. So about us in India, I think as I said, we started in 2007. Our parent company is in Hyderabad. It's hardly a few hundred meters from here. But we also have offices wide across India in 7 different locations: Bangalore, Chennai, Pune, Delhi, Coimbatore, and Ahmedabad. Okay. So we have a wide range of expertise. So we deal with, in India itself, we have around 300 plus customers, and majority of them are MSMEs. Okay, so for us, digital engineering is very, very important. So we start with the centric of customer, where customer wants to innovate, make their products more efficient, and also reduce the cost of their products, right? So when that is what they want to do, the first thing what they want to do is how to adopt the simulation. Okay, that's the first step. How can they use simulations to drive their innovation or drive their product? Second thing is to automate the simulation itself, so that you can democratize it across the users, and you can make it much more user friendly, because doing simulation is one front, and making user friendly and because a lot of people were talking about the skill gaps and all, right? So to overcome that, we can also automate it and actually make it much more button click solutions, where you can do your simulations, especially when you're talking about sectors like non-engineering, non-traditional engineering sectors like pharma, where they are using simulations nowadays. They want to go in silico instead of in vivo and in vitro, right? So when you're talking about in silico, that is something which they are adopting nowadays, and they want to do simulations upfront to understand how the mixing is happening, how your stunts you are manufacturing are going to work, what's the life of those stunts, or if you are doing a hip implants, you want to have a customer-centric data, which is very specific to each and every customer. You get the scan data, and based on the scan data, you want to actually do an implant using additive manufacturing or different manufacturing techniques, right? So when these people who are coming from other backgrounds wants to do simulations, the automations become very, very, very important. And then over that, the top circle really talks about the digital engineering part of it, where we offer services to customer, because selling a software or offering a software to the customer is not the end thing, right? That will not lead to the success for the customer. So it becomes very important for us to integrate the software solutions along with the services, along with the knowledge transfer and the training sessions and everything. So that is where we really built on IT infrastructure. So we offer the hardware to the customer, which is very simulation centric. I'm not talking about just the IT hardware, but for simulation itself, we need to customize the hardware so that it can run very efficiently. Then we are talking about the knowledge, what they have to build. The major challenge what you're facing nowadays is to get the core engineers, because a lot of colleges are dropping the core engineering courses out of their curriculums, and it's becoming very problematic to get skilled engineers for your simulation purpose. And that's what we want to also bridge a gap. Okay, so today's topic, we majorly talk about the digital engineering part of our MSMEs, and this is very, very important, because the MSMEs are a key lever for the India 5 million economy, right? So we are the 30% contributor for our GDP, and 42% of our exports, right? That's what people were talking since morning, and that is very important to concentrate upon this sector, and how we can enable the MSME sector to kind of adopt that digital engineering for them. Okay, so the main challenges is for all the industry sectors is to drive the innovation, complexities, because you're not dealing with one single physics now. You have the interconnectivity between different things, and now you're talking about Industry 4.0, where you are talking about the automation, where we have a lot of sensor data coming in. You have a lot of lens, LiDAR is there, because the camera has to see it, get the data, and based on the data, let's say you have an ADAS system. Based on the LiDAR in your car, your autonomous vehicle has to perform. If a person comes in front of you, based on the LiDAR sensor, it has to take the signal, capture it, and based on that, it has to apply a certain force on your brake so that it stops at a safe distance from the person, right? So this all becomes very complex, and we are really talking about connections between different systems and different physics here. That has become a huge problem. Then the cycle time. With so much of innovation going on, so much of competition, the cycle time to the market has come down drastically. Previously, maybe people used to take maybe 8 years, 5 years to develop a car to come out. Now they're coming down to 3 years to develop a car and coming out into the market, right? So thus times are coming down drastically, and the innovation and the complexity is going up. Okay? So right now in the industry, there are two interesting things happening. One is the technology is really helping you to reduce the development time, The second thing is the destructive part of it. The simulation, the technologies are becoming so and so advanced, your present models, present things are becoming obsolete, right? It's no more make sense. So when you want to really talk about leveraging the advanced technology which is developing day in and day out, and to leverage your legacy technology, for them to have a proper marriage between them, you need to have a digital engineering. Otherwise, there's no other way you can take it forward, right? So to actually reduce the cost, increase the quality, and evaluate the risk, we need the simulations, and there's no other way to move forward. Okay? So this is one of the survey which happened in US. So they want to see, with simulations and without simulations, what is the difference? And you can clearly see 21% improvement with simulations to, to launch the, time to market. 22% they could meet the targets. 17% increase in the quality also. So these are the important driving factors for any MSME, right? So these are 3 things what you want to look at and make sure that your product is coming out in market in a given time frame, and you're also with a low cost. So how do we get it right in the first, early itself? That is very important, because most of your cost is decided in the initial phase itself, before even you start simulation, where in the conceptual phase you have something, and like 85% of your cost is decided in the initial phases. So if you want to make some changes, the influence of these changes will be much less in the later stages. But in the early stages, if you want to make some changes, you have much scope and you can improve it, and the effect of it is much more wider reach. Okay? And with the traditional techniques where you're pushing your design to the end and doing a prototyping and going for testing, and if something is not working, coming back, this is going to take a lot of time and a lot of cycles, right? So what you want to do is you want to implement the simulations in the first phase itself, so that you can understand your product much better, optimize it, innovate it, and then you can reduce the cost and everything. And then once you finalize your design, then you can go for your prototyping, which when you are much more confident that it's going to pass and go forward, right? Nowadays simulations are becoming so realistic that people want to reduce testing drastically, just to one test, maybe 2 tests at the end of it. But most of the times they want to avoid it completely and take simulation as a benchmark. And I think a lot of the defense sectors are also asking their suppliers to submit the simulation reports, right? That is becoming much more important nowadays. And I think a lot of the OEMs, automotive OEMs, aerospace OEMs are also asking you for these reports to be submitted, so that you can make sure that your product is compliance to their requirement and everything. Okay, so that is what I was talking about, the virtual prototyping and simulation based product development. Okay, so there are 3 important technologies out of the 10 for digital engineering which are actually disrupting or help the industry to move forward. I think the first one is the AI ML. That is something one of the dignitaries is going to talk about it in the next session. But the next one is additive manufacturing. I think this is one of the technology a lot of people are using nowadays to do the prototyping, or also taking it to the next level of mass production, So the reason why additive manufacturing has become more popular is because it can manufacture any kind of complex shapes, and you can actually make lightweighting much more possible, right? But it has its own problems. I think this is not a platform to discuss about it. We can take it later. And the third one is the simulation front, where you can see a lot of people are saying the simulation is very, very important, right? So I think let's see how the simulations develop. I think in 1970s, simulation was only for academics. They were doing a lot of research and they were developing. That's fine. Next 85 to 2000, having no simulation, it's still okay. It's normal. A lot of people are not doing simulations. In 2000 to 2015, simulation has become a normal. A lot of people started using simulation. It's still not a compulsion, but still a lot of people have started doing it. As you can see the examples here, you can see it in the optics field, you can see it in the sensor field, you can see in amphibian mobility services here, oil and gas, other sectors where simulations were not traditionally used. It has moved into that. In 2015 to 20, no simulation is not normal. So people felt that, okay, you're not doing simulation still, you should start doing it now. I think as you can see, the technology of IoTs, 5Gs, electrification, ADAS and all actually has pushed simulation. As you can see here, we are doing a signal integrity problem here. to generate what are the losses, what the temperature generated because of that, and then see the thermal and cooling part of it. And then we are talking about, because of the thermal cooling and all, how the soldering is working. And if these are failing, your component is going to fail, right? So you can see 3 different physics combined together, and you need simulations for that. Not only that, we are also talking about crosstalks between 2 different devices, because nowadays, IoTs have become so much. We have, Bluetooth everywhere right nowadays, right? So there should not be a cross connection between them, how they are kind of working. All these things can be tested in simulations. Okay, and e-mobility, I think this is where a huge chunk of MSME customers are supplying to this, where they're talking about motors, batteries, the charging systems, So the motors have become very important, and we have a lot of motor customers itself in India whom we are dealing with, who are using our softwares to develop their motors and innovate with respect to characteristics of the motor, improving efficiency. The noise has become much more problematic because sustainability and environmental norms have become much more stringent nowadays, right? And the fatigue failure of it. The first thing is to get the efficiency map of the motor for different frequency rotations and all. Then we are talking about the noise levels. When we are talking about different frequency with respect to different RPMs, where the noise levels are, how is it generated, and everything. So this, because all of our OEMs are actually concentrating on this and keep asking us how we can do NVS simulations for our motors and everything. The same thing with the chargers, the same thing with the batteries. The batteries are much more problematic because you have to do the thermal runoff tests, because a lot of blast, fire is going to happen because of batteries nowadays, and this is becoming more problematic, and the battery management system has become very complex, and that is very important to be handled. So you need to do a system simulations to understand that part of it, right? And you need to have an IoT platform to sense a lot of, if you are talking about Ola, Aether nowadays, you have a lot of performance monitoring systems where you can monitor how your battery is performing, how many kilometers it's going to give more, and a lot of other things, right? So this is where the technology is being driven to, and it can adopt it so that, based on the performance of your batteries, it can automatically adopt and make sure that your battery efficiency is pushed forward, right? And make it more efficient and efficient. We are talking about the manufacturing sector, where you want to, just manufacture this kind of structures, where you can go with additive manufacturing, where you can get this kind of complex shapes which can be manufactured with additive manufacturing like this, and we can see better, cheaper, and faster you can get it. With less volume and mass, you can increase your stiffness of your structures. That becomes very important. We're talking about medical. This is a very simple example where you have a, you want to have a kind of make sure that your teeth are properly aligned, and you go to a dentist, right? That becomes very important. Your space is not symmetric, but the loads they apply internally are symmetric. And they need to understand what forces should they apply so that your teeth are properly aligned, so that you don't have this distorted figure in your after the whole teeth are aligned properly, right? So this becomes very important to be tested. So you can do simulations for that front also, where you can take the customer specific data and do the simulations and understand what kind of force you have to apply and which positions you have to apply so that you can get a proper jaw alignment, right? We are doing it for, we have our own wing of medical, for medicine. We do a lot of simulations for doctors, for, plastic surgeries and other surgeries, so that, people can use simulations for that front. Okay? And now in 2020s and moving forward, the simulation is becoming a must. As I said, a lot of customers are asking for it, OEMs are asking for it. Starting with a simple example like this bottles, it becomes very, very important. We have a huge customer whom we actually do a lot of simulations and a lot of automation for the bottle suppliers itself, where they want to see what is the buckling force, manufacturing of the bottle, sustainability of the bottle, environmental effect. They want to reduce the plastic usage. All these things are coming into picture. So you can see there is a structural problem, there is a molding problem, a manufacturing problem, there is a thermal, there is a cost influence. So you want to see different physics combined together. You can combine all them in a workflow and then do a simulations to understand what would be the best design, best settings of your manufacturing so that your cost can be reduced starting from the material to the manufacturing itself. Okay? So with digital engineering, you can see the traditional technique, you take 50 months to develop your product, that can be got down to 36 months or even less. as you move forward and make improvements in your processes. Okay. So with that, I'll come to the product side of it, where ANSYS is leading in this part of it. ANSYS is a tool what we are using in the background to do the simulations for each and every physics. ANSYS is leading in terms of every physics what you deal with, whether it's structures, electrical, CFD, optics, you name it. We are the leaders in all the physics, and we deal only with the simulations. We are not into any PLM or any CAD or anything. We purely do on the simulation. That is our core bread and butter, and that's where we concentrate upon. And as you can see, as you can see, we are dealing with the physics in the bottom. This is where defense sector is talking about. Now they have a satellite, they have a radar, there is a flight, moving, or missile coming in, the projectile and all. So they want to have a communication between system of systems, and they want to actually simulate this kind of war scenario to see what is happening. Let's say there's a laser, there's a missile coming in, they want to shoot a laser to destroy it, right? So at what time they have to shoot it, and what, how much intensity they have to shoot so that the missile can be destroyed. All these things have to work together, the systems have to work together and can lead to this, right? So this becomes very important for us to take it to that level of it, and then you can see the solutions and the industries on the top of it. So traditionally we are talking about previously the simulations are only used in the design phase, optimization phase. That is fine, we are not using it in the requirements concept, preliminary design or any other phases. But as we move forward, as the requirements move forward, it's becoming more and more complex, and we can't work anymore in silos, right? So we need to, when we are talking about interdependency on the different departments, and we can't move forward and backward, and we can't just maintain it over a paper and kind of communicate it over just the documents. We need to have a proper models which we can communicate with in each stage and make it digital thread like this, which is much more convenient for the customers to develop it and move forward, right? So the first level is the virtual simulations, what we talk about. Then we are also actually moving to the next level, which is called digital engineering, where we have a lot of other things involved, not only just for the design phase itself, to the whole development phase, from the inception, product requirements to the end phase of it, So this is the V model, what we talk about the product development. So we have the, just to go back, we have the first one is the requirements, then we have the system, subsystem level, and then the bottom is where traditionally people used to use simulations, where is the component level of it. But nowadays it's no more like that. We start with the requirements, we generate the models with the requirement. So we have the model-based system starting from 1. So we have the models with the requirement level, we can take it to the system level, then get all your requirements for the system level and check them. Then go to the next level, which is the subsystem. Once you cross the subsystem, you go to the individual component level, where you work in the silos on different physics. Again, you integrate them in the subsystem level, validate it, take to the system level, integrate with your software, everything, check whether it's compliant with your ISO standards and everything, and then you take it to the next level, which is again the system of system levels or digital twins in product. How many of you heard about digital twins? So I think it's a very fancy word people are talking about nowadays, the digital twin, and this, I can just tell you very simple, people can say digital twin as a CAD itself is a digital twin, because it's virtually or representing something. It's called a digital twin of your design, right? Yeah, I'm done with it. So the next point is, I think it's very, that is something which people are getting confused with, but digital twin is much more broader in a sense, where people want to do a predictive maintenance than go for a regular maintenance. And that is what we really talk about here. The simulations are no more used in only one phase, but you can use simulations in all the phases, starting with ideation, design, manufacturing, in product, in process, and everything. So where we are talking about ADAS, which is in your product, it is sitting. Simulation sitting in your product, based on the data you get, it reacts and applies the force on the brakes to stop the car. Digital twins are also sitting on your product to monitor your, as it goes, as your life of, like let's say I have a jet engine, I have to monitor my jet engine so that I should know when should I go for maintenance instead of doing for regular maintenance, which is more costly, and I don't know whether it's going to fail before the maintenance or after the maintenance, So all these things, right? So here is a transformation, what you can see in product, the CAD, I think a lot of people are doing. I think product development, we can do 3D printing, additive manufacturing, and simulations. Product testing, a lot of people are doing especially for ADAS nowadays, people cannot do the field testing. They need so many years to actually drive so many miles to test their cars. What they're doing is everything virtually tested. They have, they have the VRs, ARs, and all these things, and using machine learning techniques to adopt and test it, and then they're coming out to market with ADAS 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. Okay. In the product maintenance, which I was talking about, digital twins, and the knowledge management is also there. So this is one last slide of mine. That is what we are talking about. Oh, okay. Can you close it once? Yeah. So this is very important. We have our own courses, which is called ASC ANSYS Innovative Courses, which help lot